Jay here, welcome to Miles Memories Weekly, episode 202. Miles Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 DVDs a week. Ow! Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, Games Workshop showed off the teaser trailer for Astartes II. They showed off the new event-exclusive minis. There's a very exciting new 30k mini that 40k players are going to steal for their 40k collections, and I've been trying to find what to buy next for my JSA army. But first, did you know that EonsOfBattle.com is the place to find our merch, like the Nick and J dice? This week, the J dice, actually I piloted my Necrons with the J dice to horrible effects. I rolled so badly, but that was really more my fault than the dice's fault. And for some reason, if you wanted to actually win your games, you could use the Nick dice, but I still like the J dice more. Also on our website is the best way to support us doing what we do with a membership. Each month, members will get a credit that they can use on our new monthly terrain packs or any previous pack we have ever made. For the month of January, we made The Fall, Part 2, Guns, Big Guns. This set focuses on printable high-caliber ordnance ready to rock a battlefield. This set features the enormous battle cannon, a building-sized gun encased in a Gothic shrine for sending 100-pound shells into orbit, the sun cannon, an energy turret for throwing hot balls of glowing energy across the landscape, and the humble field artillery for mopping up whatever's left. This set perfectly complements the Fall buildings and is the second of 3 sets focused on getting a proper 40k board up and running as easily as possible. There's a new teaser trailer for Astartes II, and it's really, really good. I think everyone has probably seen Astartes 1 in an unbelievably good fan animation on YouTube. It is brilliant. Supposedly it was made by one guy, and it was released like little parts over the course of 3 years, but still, one person had like perfect art direction and art design and cinematography and unbelievable animation skills. Like, it's a masterpiece. And there's gonna be a new show on Warhammer TV that is more of that. And that's really, really exciting. It is slated for sometime in 2026, which is a little bit heartbreaking. I get it. Animation, like, to do something really, really well takes a really, really, really long time. And there's a bunch of animations that I'm waiting on right now, but I do want them to be good. So I want them to come out when they're ready to come out, but I want it. I want to watch it right now. And there's a trailer. The trailer has some really, really cool stuff. Size to the Emperor, the Raptors chapter. There's a spooky looking helmet that I'm not sure what chapter it's from, but also no Primaris Marines, which I thought was an interesting little detail, especially since Games Workshop is making Astartes 2. And I wonder if the guy was like, we're not doing Primaris in this one. Not yet. We're not doing that yet. I like Primaris Marines a lot, but I also think that the old Marines are really, really cool. And I mean, the show could just be set a couple thousand years in the past, because 40k is all over the place with its actual like history. The Bad War is technically still happening, even though we're in the 42nd millennium and the Primarchs are all coming back. It is wild. But speaking of things that are wild, the new event exclusive minis have been revealed. Last year we had a normal Kroot guy just doing a little jump, which was fine. I a little bit wish I bought that model because I'm getting a Kroot army, but also it's just a Kroot guy doing a little jump. And we had a pretty cool Age of Sigmar Bird Knight. That was actually, I kind of wish they had them at Adepticon. I could have gotten one. It's a pretty cool model, but I didn't end up pulling the trigger. But this year, we got some juice. This year for the Age of Sigmar side, we have a Claw Lord. A Claw Lord not on Gnaw Beast. I have the Gnaw Beast one because I got the starter set. But I mean, this guy is absolutely phenomenal. Every Skaven miniature they've come out with has been absolutely phenomenal. This guy is a really, really good get because I think the original model is fantastic. The one that you can get in Skaventide is also fantastic and cheap on eBay. And so if you need a Claw Lord, your bases are completely covered. You can get whatever you want, or you can try to snag this guy and have another just really, really cool model. Also not the hardest unit to like kit bash and convert if you wanted to just take like a battle rat and give him a little bit of extra armor and a sword. There's a lot of good kit bashing potential, especially since Skaven are a little bit orky in that they're ramshackle and you can kind of build whatever you want. I think this guy is a fantastic exclusive miniature. So, you should try, if you want him, you can try to get him, but if you don't care, you don't care and you're not missing out on anything. I don't know if I feel the same way about the 40k mini. The 40k mini is a Gene Stealer Cult Primus. This is really annoying because Gene Stealers, the only way we've ever been able to get Primuses is the one Primus from the original Death Watch Overkill box. He's going like this, And every single Primus in every person's army, usually people bring 2 or 3, is just like this. This is a gun. And so we could use another Primus. Also, not the hardest thing to convert up in the world, but he should be a little bit more exciting than the rank and file guys. We got a new Magos, we got Lady Magos, which is a very popular Genestealer cult miniature, but we don't have a Primus. If you wanna buy a Primus right now, if you're able to, you have to buy it alongside a Magos and a Patriarch, and it's really, really expensive for kind of a unit that like you need in your army, but it's really hard to buy, and nobody needs more Patriarchs. I think every single Tyranid and Genestealer cult player has so many Patriarchs that they aren't taking in game. It's an epic hero, you can only have 1. I have 4. Between all my different Tyranid and Genestealer armies, I have 4. And again, I can only take 1 in game. I have a bunch of Primuses, but they're all doing one of these. I would love to be able to buy another Primus, but I don't want to be able to buy it this way. I don't want to stand in line at a convention so that I can get 1 Primus. It should be on the shelf. Like, if a model isn't super easy to get a hold of, it should just be available to buy. But this guy isn't available to buy. He's an event exclusive mini. I think he looks fantastic. I like his little needle pistol and his little scary claw and his little bone sword. He looks great. He looks just like the current guy, but reposed with a few tiny little differences. But I don't like that he's not a little blister that's hanging at the peg at my local Warhammer store. Like, that's how it should be. Models should be easy to buy. Also, Games Workshop, if you're listening, please sell Space Marine suppressors, because currently you don't. Technically, they're in the Vanguard Strike Force, but that's been out of stock for a year. Prices on eBay are getting wild. The Games Workshop, please sell that kit and sell this one. Don't make it an event exclusive mini. I mean, they already did, but make it again and then have it at the store. But speaking of just having it at the store, the new Tech Scribe and Architor Magisterium is really, really cool. I don't know how these guys work in 30K at all, but like for Necromunda or for 40K, just in general, tagging along with some Inquisitors, these guys would be really, really cool. I really like the behind the scenes of Warhammer 40,000, and these guys are literally background characters, usually built into the scenery, because all of the different like tech scribes and automatic door servitors and a guy whose entire life has been cataloging every single event on a computer terminal for over the course of 1,000 years. He's been taking notes on everything that's ever happened, but his computer was never plugged in. And so it never mattered, his entire existence. Like, those are the sorts of fun little things in 40K that really get me going. And these guys are delightful. I love the little scribe with his humongous feather. And the Architor Magisterium is a really, really neat mini. I mean, this could make a really, really good just tech, not a tech marine. What did the Imperial Guard call their guys? Tech scribes, techno, guy with a ratchet. This would make a really, really good Count as Tech Priest model. Ah, it's so lovely. I like the little crabby claws, power sword, and probably a stub pistol. I guess that could also be a las pistol. It could be a las gun. It looks a little funky to be a las gun. The magazine is different, although las guns are all over the place in terms of their design. So, or it could be a stub gun. It could be a needle gun, actually. The barrel is incredibly small. It kind of could be whatever you want. I want this model. Ooh, Escher, Necromunda Escher. This lady would look the part in Escher Gang. I still don't know exactly what I want to do with my Escher gals. I did some photoshopping of like different color schemes and different kit bashes that I could do. I bought every single thing you can buy for Escher. I'm just like working on very slowly tinkering and creating my perfect Necromunda force. And Games Workshop goes and drops a model like this, and I kind of want it. Ooh, I like how messed up her hand is. I didn't even notice that she's not holding a sword. Her hand is a sword. It's like a Boston Dynamics robot arm that ends in a power sword. That's got to be difficult to live your daily life. Although I bet it's an attachment. I bet that she can just kind of unscrew the power sword and screw on whatever different piece that she needs to have for whatever she's working on. I mean, are crab claws the most effective tool for mechanical working? Probably not, but it's really, really cool. I like this model a lot. It almost feels like someone else's 40K model. This model almost doesn't feel 40K. Like sometimes when I see other people design models that are kind of sort of for 40K, they feel a little bit more 40K than 40K models, because 40K like Games Workshop minis are so exactly Warhammer, but a lot of the artwork and like the general design philosophy of Warhammer 40,000 is to kind of take something else and to make it grim dark. And this kind of feels like someone took something else and made it grim dark, as opposed to like a classic John Blanche Tech Marine, where just it's a giant amalgamation of machine parts and toaster ovens. But speaking of toasters, I have been hard at work on my Japanese successionist army. I got ever so slightly more paint on my Karakuri special project robots, and I have been trying to figure out what I need next for my Infinity army. I want to do JSA, I want to do JSA, and then I want to do Hakislam, and then I maybe want to do Pano. Oh no, I definitely have to do Nomads. So Nomads might be before Hakislam. Although the Magreba is really, really cool. The Magreba is one of the coolest miniatures. Number one, because it's a giant scorpion monster tank, but also because it's made of metal. The thing literally is like 2 pounds of metal. It's beautiful. It's upsettingly obtuse. And if you dropped it on your foot, you'd probably break a toe, but I want it. It makes me giggle. But right now I'm doing my JSA and terrain. I bought so much Warsenal terrain, but that's for gaming. Right now I'm in the building phase. And I was trying to figure out what I need for my JSA army, because I was looking at the website and just see every single character. And my initial thought was just, I'll buy everything good. But Infinity models take me a long time to paint because I like to go hard on them, because the box art is really, really, really nice and the miniatures are really, really nice. Probably the best metal, well, definitely the best metal I've ever worked with. Like, usually a metal model, not my favorite, but Infinity, Corvus Belli, they know how to make a metal model. These are really, really nice. Also, I was looking at the stats for my Karakuri robots. I thought that these were like the piddliest little things, because this is a very, very small miniature, even by Infinity standards. These guys are built like trucks. They're full-on robots with every ability that like the robot keyword gives you. These guys are good. These guys are really, really good and expensive. I think I want to tech my army into quite a few expensive things. I've been told that I should take a whole bunch of grunts so that I have like enough action economy and so that I have all of my bases covered for actually playing the game. But all of the really pretty stuff is really, really calling out to me. So I might just do all the really pretty stuff and then lose all my games and then slowly start to add in all of the little grunts so that I can actually play the game. But I think isn't that how every wargaming army starts? You just buy whatever you want and then you lose because you don't know anything. And then slowly you start to figure it out. Like I did that with 10th edition. Coming into Warhammer 40k 10th edition, I played a bunch of 6th and 7th and 8th, not so much 9th, but then 10th edition, I knew nothing. Now, I'm kind of bad at 10th edition, which is way better than I was at the launch of the edition. Some of the minis that have really been calling my name are the Arigato Senken Butai, which are bikers. These guys have a natural movement of 6'8", which is really like double what a normal guy has, which makes sense because they're on bikes. And in Infinity, you can do actions more than once, so you could be moving a whole bunch. Also, these guys can be hackers, which I think I'm gonna want hackers, like a lot of hackers, because I'm planning on bringing a lot of robots and tags. And so having a bunch of my own hackers is probably gonna be really, really good, because in Infinity, it's not just about blowing up the tank. It's not 40k where you just have to bring down the Rogel Dorn or else your game is gonna go badly. You can hack the Rogel Dorn so that it can't do stuff, but then you can counter hack. Like there's actually some fun counterplay to the really, really big stuff, but I want my Karakuris to actually be doing stuff every single turn. The big centerpiece thing that I want is the Oyori Kitabutai, which is a gigantic tag with the cutest little koala robots. They do serve a purpose in the game, but I am more staring at his humongous gun. Just a giant robot, very Gundam inspired, really, really fun looking. Does he have little ears? No, he has horns. Still cool. Do I give him little cat ears? I might have to get silly with this. This guy is a tag, which stands for Tactical Armored Gear. I think that's right. But pretty much every faction has their own tags that are just the big bads. And I kind of feel like is the look of Infinity. You can definitely play, especially in low points games, you're not necessarily bringing the tags, but if the game has the option for giant robots, why would I not? I mean, you know, I could just play Moonstone if I want to have little guys on guys. But if I want giant robots shooting all over the place, then I'm gonna make sure that that happens. The other thing that caught my eye, especially after a bunch of people told me that it was really, really good, Yojimbo, the mercenary sword. It is a special character who actually comes with himself mounted and on foot, which I believe in the game you can actually dismount. At least I think you could in N4. Infinity just changed to N5, so there's a new edition of Infinity that has just, I think, minor changes and like quality of life improvements for the game. But Yojimbo, apparently this guy is really, really action heavy as well. Like you want to be giving him a lot of your actions because he's just really, really good. Although I want my Karakuris to be doing all sorts of stuff. So I don't know, I have to play the game. I mean, maybe this is a scenario where I just have to play the game with buttons and pennies. Actually, I think a buddy of mine invited me to his tabletop simulator tribe. I should play the game, but right now the collecting pretty models is taking over for me. The last thing that really caught my eye was the ninjas, the multi-sniper hackers. Once again, I think I want a lot of hackers because I have a lot of things that can be hacked. But I mean, of course, if I'm playing the JSA, the Japanese Successionist Army, I'm gonna need some ninjas. One thing that I was actually a big help in looking at this, because in Infinity, it's a little bit hard to tell what units are what. There is the Human Sphere database, which is a little thing on the Infinity website, which is an AI lore search engine. When you click on it, you'll see a little search bar and you will see a very silly looking pink-haired lady, which is, I guess, is the AI that is talking to you supposedly. But I was a little bit dubious of this. It's actually really good. I was able to look up info on all of these different characters, kind of how they fit into the world of Infinity. At first, because I know a little bit about Infinity lore, I've watched some YouTube videos, and so I was like testing out the AI to see if it would actually be correct. It's pretty correct. It's really good, actually. And so it told me about the Oyori Kitabutai's lobster move, which is how, like, one of its fighting styles that it uses to get close to the enemies. It told me all about the Arigato Senkenbutai bikers and how they operate in the game. Like, it's actually a really, really useful tool. I kind of wish there was something like this for 40K, because I'm pretty good at 40K lore. I know my way around a codex and around the novels. It would be really cool if you could just type a 40K question in and actually get a response that's not just somebody on Reddit. How many Space Marines fall to Nurgle every single day? There's probably some novel out there that explains that, because I think it's probably like one a day at least, but it'd be really cool if, like, you know, an official, I guess probably a Necron. They would use a Necron as the AI that is talking to you. And the only flaw I have with the Infinity Human Sphere database is I think the lady should be Aleph, because in Infinity, one of the big things going on in the universe, which Infinity is just like regular Earth, but in the future. And it's not even a dystopian future. It's just like, what would happen? What would happen after another couple hundred years? It's really, really interesting. There is an AI called Aleph that essentially takes care of everything for humanity. And most people are super okay with this because it just takes care of everything. It makes their lives perfect almost. There's another faction, the Nomads, who really don't like Aleph, and so they actually live on spaceships just out there in space so that they have nothing to do with Aleph. And so they're technically more free because they're not being monitored 24/7 by an AI. But in space, they have to pay for everything, including their own water and air. So is it more free to live on Earth with the AI, or is it more free to live in space where you have to work every single second? Because if you don't pay your air bill, things are gonna get real bad real quick. I think having Aleph be the AI that you talk to would just be a really, really fun little wrinkle in the Infinity world. And I think Aleph should look like, the personification of Aleph should be a little bit frightening, a little bit like the Chaos Gods in Warhammer 40,000. Technically, Aleph doesn't have a form, it's just an AI, it's just a computer, it's just a terminal. But it would be really, really cool if it was like some godly visage that is kind of frightening, but also kind of awesome. Aleph is actually defending humanity from an alien invasion, where none of the humans are actually taking it all that seriously, but the AI is kind of taking care of it for them, so they don't need to take it very seriously. There is an alien artificial intelligence that is essentially running the alien faction, and literally it's an AI on AI super battle. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff going on in Infinity, and the database works really well. If any of you guys are Infinity players out there, please let me know in the comments below if you were starting a JSA army, or if you go up against some JSA armies, what do they include? I mean, I know that I'm gonna get the Oyori Kitabutai, so like, if I have that, which I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna have it soon. If I have that, what else would go really nicely in the army? Because I don't want to get playing. And speaking of want to be getting playing, I have heard a rumbling in the warp that a certain Scott the Miniature Maniac has been working on his Dark Eldar army. Scott and I, over the course of the last many months, have been working in tandem on our Dark Eldar armies. And Scott, he's been a little bit of a slowpoke about it, but it seems like he's getting the let out, and he is going to be finishing his army in short order, which is making me a little bit nervous because my army isn't completely done. The big thing I have to do right now is I really, really need to get a move on with my witches. If I just built the Games Workshop witches, they'd be done. But I don't like the Games Workshop witches, so I have been agonizingly slowly kit bashing and converting not Dark Eldar, Death Witches, Blood Witches, the Age of Sigmar, Daughters of Cain witches into 40k witches, and that has slowed me down a lot because I can't just paint them. I have to physically bring them out of the ether. I have to invent them before I can paint them. But Scott's making me a little nervous. I think I might have a fight this Adepticon when we play a game with our armies. Lots and lots of big fun stuff happening in the world of miniatures. I have painted so many miniatures, a lot of them not for me. There's some big stuff that's been happening. I actually have to get back to some of that big stuff. Thanks for watching.